What's up, guys? This is Kephas.
So we are back in the midnight beta, and we're going to check out something new that I'm pretty excited about. Something that a lot of people have been talking about, and it's the Transmog updates. I've been messing around with this for a little bit, and I have to say what I'm seeing so far is really cool, and there's some stuff to talk about. So right now, as you can see, I'm on my Paladin, and I'm wearing my favorite set of Paladin armor. When I go inside of the Lion's Pride Inn, where it's a rested area, look, I'm now wearing a outfit that I got off the trading post actually this month. So you can actually have outfits and they will change depending on where you are. And it actually gets even cooler than that. If I mount up here and I go over this way, we're going to go to the nearest body of water here. We're going to jump in and look at that. I'm now in my swimming trunks. So yeah, you can actually have armor switch in a lot of different conditions, and there's so much that has changed to Transmog, and I think it's just going to make the whole system a lot more fun, and I'm excited to check it out. So let's go back to Goldshire and we'll go ahead and take a look at everything. And yeah, it's really neat. So hop on my my mount here, and oh my gosh, this camera is wigging out. I don't know what's going on, but let's look here and see. Okay, so this is the new window, and there's a lot that's different here. There's a lot more involved, and yeah, it's great. So the biggest thing first, on the left side, these are all your different slots, okay? And so you can have more slots, and you assign your armor to these different slots, and that's how you can have different sets of armor that can do different things. So you actually have to buy them. I started off with 2, and down here you can see you can buy more. So if I click on this, it gets progressively more expensive with each slot. It kind of works like bank tabs do. And so I'm at 15,000 gold for the next slot. So that would be slot 8 for me. If I buy that now, it's not my gold anyways, it's beta, so why not? And then if I want to buy another one, yeah, it's up to 20,000 now. So it gets more expensive. It gets expensive pretty quick. So yeah, so this is the first thing that caught people's attention, is how expensive it can be. And yeah, for sure. And right now in the beta, this is per character, not per account. And so that's one of the things that had people concerned, is this can get really expensive and you have to buy it on each alt. If you have a lot of alts, and a lot of people who like Transmog do, that can be a problem. Well, they're going to fix that. So the good news is this will be account wide. You unlock these slots and you're good to go on your whole account. So that's a good thing. And honestly, I don't mind paying gold to unlock more slots. I mean, I'm already at probably more than I'll really need now, so I don't mind. But hey, it's there, and it's a way to, you know, sink gold, I guess, and I don't mind it in this regard, especially if it's a one-time thing. So that is one thing. There's more to talk about when it comes to gold, don't worry, but for that, I think that switching it to account wide is good enough, and that's fine. Okay, so yeah, so just like before, you set your armor, you go through each slot. It'll show you each slot. You can set your armor up however you want. You can do sets if you want to. Really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. But then you can also, this is really cool, you can create custom sets. And you can have, as far as I know, as many as you want. And so right now I've made 2. I've got my Sunbound Oathkeeper set, and I've also got my Sunforged, and I've also got my Spellforged Oathkeeper set. I have different colors of these sets. It's a lot of fun. And so I can easily just switch between them. You know, you could save sets before, but this is a lot nicer. You've got a little window, preview it and stuff like that. It's just a massive improvement in that regard, I think. So that's really cool, and you can make as many of these as you want. And then you go over here, and this is how you customize your different slots. So you can have different situations. So in the first area here, you can set situations like have it work for all locations, or you can do specific locations like your house, rested areas, the character login screen. So that's really cool. And then, of course, any of the other areas in the game. So world, delves, dungeons, raids, arenas, battleground. You can have different armor sets for each of those different areas. So like you saw with me, you go into town or go into an inn, go into your house, and you can have it change to a different outfit. So that's really cool. And then, of course, you can have this as well. This is how I did the swimming outfit for different types of movement. So when you are unmounted, you're walking, you're swimming, you're on a ground mount, flying mount, you can actually have your armor change for that. And of course, for each specialization, you can have specific armor sets for that as well. So I think that is really cool, and I think it adds a lot of customization, and there's even more on different characters. So I was on my Worgen earlier, and I noticed that actually you can set a different armor set through this depending on whether you're in Worgen form or human form. So I assume it's also the same for the Draktheirs. That's really cool. I think that's awesome. People have been asking for that forever. And so that's awesome that you'll be able to do that. Cause like some armor, you know, it looks awesome when you're a human and it looks terrible when you're a Worgen. So maybe you use the same armor and then remove the helm when you're Worgen form. Maybe you remove the whole upper body portion when you're in Worgen form. Maybe you want your Worgen to be completely naked. You have those options now. So I think that is awesome. And it's going to make playing a Worgen a lot more appealing because, you know, if your Worgen looks stupid in armor, that's a big reason not to want to play one. And I think that's a big turnoff for a lot of people. So I think that's cool. Same with Evokers, even though Draktheir, they can't wear anything, it seems like. But still, it's nice that it's there. And I can't confirm if it's the case for Draktheir, but it's still cool. So yeah, this is awesome. I think this adds a lot of immersion. It's a lot of customization and just fun experimentation that you can do. I would like to see, like, I think this is great. This is not a complaint. This is just a suggestion. I'd love to see more here. I think they could expand this even further. Like imagine if, say, you're in Northrend, for example, or you're even in Dunmoreau, somewhere where it's snowing, cold. Maybe you want to wear armor that is more warm. You know, maybe it has fur on it, something that looks more appropriate for those areas. Whereas maybe you go to, I don't know, Pandaria, where it's a little bit more tropical or whatever, and you want to have lighter armor on. You know what I mean? Like something like that would be really cool. So I think that would be really cool to do. Maybe you can have armor change depending on what zone you're in, and you could check through any zone if you want to. And if that sounds crazy, there's actually an add-on called Light Mount. It's a add-on for mounting, and the big feature is it gives you a hotkey to mount up, which is nice to have. You don't have to put mounts on your action bar, but it's even better. It's smart mounting, so it'll pick the right mount depending on the area you're in. So if you can only do ground mounts, it'll pick a ground mount. It'll do a flying mount if you're in a flying area, but it gets even better because you can also set up rules and conditions so that it will use a specific mount if you meet those conditions. So for example, if you are a human, you can have it set up to do a specific mount. If you're a paladin, it'll do a specific mount. If you're a human paladin, it can do a completely different mount. Or even if you're a female human paladin, it will do a separate mount. Okay, so like it gets very detailed, and you can set up all kinds of just amazing parameters to kind of have it pick which mount you want it to use. And you can also set up for each zone, for any zone you want. So you can do any zone, or you can go through and pick specific zones. So, you know, when I'm in the Searing Gorge, for example, use my Fire Kitty or something. I don't know, it's something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so you can do all kinds of stuff like that. I just think that's really cool. It would be neat if they could do something similar to that for this, because it would make sense. You know, you may wear something different depending on where you are. So that would be a lot of fun. Like I said, it's more, and maybe that's something they can expand to eventually. But what they have here is awesome. I think this is great. You pair this with player housing, and suddenly you have a lot more immersion, a lot more character customization, and a lot more creativity that people can do. And I think this is going to become an even bigger part of the game moving forward. This rivals what Final Fantasy XIV has provided. I actually think this is a little bit better than Final Fantasy XIV. I think Final Fantasy XIV's transmog system is nice. It's a little bit limited in some areas, but you know, it's also been really good, and I think it's been a little bit better than WoW's. But now I think this is rivaling it even more. The only thing that Final Fantasy XIV is doing that kind of beats this is you can use any armor type on any class, and hey, maybe that's something they could do in the future as well. But yeah, what's here is really cool, and I like it a lot. I think the only other thing, there's a little bit of a bug, it seems, with enchants. My axe here is still enchanted. It would also be nice if you could optionally hide your weapon. So like if you go into town, maybe you don't show your weapon, because it does look a little bit weird when I go into an inn and my axe is still sitting there. So that would be kind of cool if I had that option to hide my weapon when I'm obviously not in combat. That would be nice to have. So maybe that's something they can look into in the future as well. But yeah, like I said, what they have here is really, really great. There's only one downside. one thing that has a lot of people concerned, and it's the cost. Now, we've already covered the cost of the slots. That's, maybe you don't like the idea of paying for more slots. That's fair. It's, everybody has different opinions. I don't mind it if it's one time. I think that kind of fixes it enough for me. But the big problem is how much it actually costs to change your armor. So what you do is, you go through, you set your thing up. I'm going to switch over to my Spellforge set here, and then you have to assign it to the slot, and that also assigns it to your character. And as you can see, it's a little bit costly. For my character, that's going to cost me around almost 3,000 gold. And I'm not even changing every piece. I'm using the same weapon. I've not changed my my wrists. I'm not changing my shirt. So there's a couple pieces that I'm not even changing, and it still costs 2,700 gold. And I'm also not max level. I'm assuming that it could go up if you go up to level 90. I can't say that for sure, but I've heard people say that it's cost them as much as 3,000 or 6,000 gold to change their armor through this. That's a lot. Okay, so I don't think that's great. I'm hoping that they change that. And so what they've said, from what I understand, is that they are going to change that, or they're going to reduce the cost, and it shouldn't cost that much. So that is nice. And so I think it comes down to so how much should it cost to change your armor? Well, here's my opinion. I don't mind paying for the slots. I don't think it should cost anything to change your armor in the game. To change your clothes should be free. I shouldn't have to pay to change my clothes. I think that's absurd. I was talking to my wife, and she's a big Animal Crossing player, and she's like, yeah, it's kind of like if you're using the Star Rod in Animal Crossing to change your outfit and you have to pay bells every time. It's like, yes, exactly. And I don't think it's great. I think the only argument for it really is that it's a gold sink. My argument against that is find a different gold sink, please, because the whole thing about Transmog is that it's for experimentation. I can go into the menu and I can set up my armor, and I can look at it in the menu. I can look at it in the wardrobe here and see how I feel about it. But I also want to see how it looks when I'm in the world. I set it up, I'm running around, I'm fighting, I'm doing different things. I'm like, yeah, okay, that looks nice. Or, ooh, I want to make a change here, or whatever it is. I want to change my armor. Who cares why? To have to pay every time is crazy. In this game, you already pay a price for it in live, and that's kind of been the norm. I don't think you should ever have to. I don't think that should have ever been the norm. In Legion Remix, when you do Transmog, you don't have to pay anything. It's free, and it's better, in my opinion. I think it's a lot better to not have to pay, because then you can just mess around with it and have some fun. And I think for systems like this, having those types of limitations is a problem. You want to change your armor, but you don't have enough gold, or you spend a bunch of gold just messing around with Transmog for a while. I don't think that feels great, and I don't think it's good for the system. And I think it is a big downer on the system. And of course, we can talk about gold sinks all day, but there's always the specter, or the cloud over the head of gold in this game, which is the token. And anytime you have gold sinks like this, or these crazy prices, you have to wonder, is the goal here to encourage people to buy WoW tokens? I'll just buy a WoW token, then I'll have some gold that I can mess around with Transmog for a while. It's like, man, when you look at the prices right now in this, and as it's set here, it's expensive. It can add up pretty quick for people that are really mess with the Transmog system. That gets really expensive, and if you have alts, again, it can really, it compounds, right? It can get really pricey in a very short amount of time. So I think it should be free. For the same reason, I think that respecking in games should be free. In Classic WoW, you have to pay for respecs. That's one of the few things I don't like about Classic WoW over Modern, is that you have to do that. I think it's great in Modern WoW that you don't have to pay for respecs. And the reason why is because it encourages you to experiment and try out different builds and see what you like. It's the same thing for Transmog. I've been playing Diablo 2 recently. I've been playing Diablo 2 for over 20 years, and I'm playing with a mod called Diablo 2 Resurrected Reimagined. It's so much fun. It adds a lot of fun new ideas to the game, some quality of life stuff. And one of the things it does is it allows you to respec whenever you want. You no longer have either limited respecs, or you have to grind to get a respec item. You do it whenever you want to. And I think it makes the game 100 times better. You can't break your character. You don't have to grind just to respec or whatever. You just do it. You have a different armor set, you want to try out a different build, go ahead. That's the point. It's fun, right? I don't think there's a good reason. I've never felt like there's a good reason that justifies having to pay for respecs. I don't think it makes any game better. In any game, in any context, does it make a game better to have to pay for respecs? And I feel this exact same way about Transmog. I think it should be free. That's my only criticism of this system right now, is that I think that transmogging should be free. Let players have fun with the system. I think that's my opinion. Let people just change their outfit as much as they want to. Nobody wants to go into their house and then have somebody say, hey, you got to pay me a couple bucks to change into your underwear, right? Nobody wants that. I think it's terrible. And yeah, so I think that would be great if they would change that and just let it be free. Very cheap is better. Free, in my opinion, is the right way to go. So that's my thought. Other than that, I think it's great. I think this is an amazing system, and I hope they expand on it. I think that, like I said, I think they've got a lot of good here in this game, in this version of the game, to add a lot more immersion to it, a lot more incentive to just do other things, build your house, go collect transmogs and come up with fun outfits. And I think that's awesome. You're going to be seeing more outfits from me moving forward for sure. It's just something fun to do. I like this kind of stuff. It's a nice side thing. And again, and that's another reason why, hey, let it be free and let people have fun with it, please. Just let it be fun. Okay. So those are my thoughts. Amazing. I hope they expand on it. I hope they fix the pricing. Other than that, it's great. But I'd love to hear from you. You've heard my thoughts now. I'll stop yapping and let me know what you think of this transmog system. Are you excited for it? Do you like collecting transmog? Is it something that you're into? Are these changes going to get you into it more? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. With all that being said, I will see you guys on the next one.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking that like button. And feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. And if you'd like to see more videos, you can subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. You can also follow me on Facebook, and if you'd like, you can support my work on Patreon. Links to all that stuff can be found in the description below. This is Kephas. Until next time.